Good day, Governor. The rain in Spain stays mainly in the plain. Ow! Welcome to 4K Ultra HD Review. I'm your host, Billy Hoosh. And if that slightly racist intro didn't give it away, or the thumbnail didn't give it away, you'll know that today I'll be reviewing My Fair Lady, the Audrey Hepburn film from 1964. Now, I ask myself, why did I pick up this title? I enjoy musicals, they're not bad. I used to watch them when I was a kid. However, this one I remember as a child not really understanding too well. The reason I picked this up was rave reviews of the 4K transfer of this one. Not only is the 4K transfer for this absolutely pristine, the audio is amazing too. This film was completely made in Technicolor, similar to Willy Wonka, my previous review. However, this 4K transfer was done in Dolby Vision. So make sure if your TV has Dolby Vision, enable it so you don't have to fiddle with anything with your color settings. You know what you are seeing on your set is exactly what was intended by the filmmakers. The HDR in this film really pops. And I think later on I will make a video explaining more in detail the HDR process because I'm curious as well. I'd like to research to see how do they do restorations and retroactively add HDR to these old films. So this will definitely stay tuned and subscribe because there'll be a video eventually coming that will delve into the process of restoration in 4K. Now, from the first scene where everyone's waiting outside and it's raining and there's these beautiful stone buildings, you can see every raindrop coming down in this film. It just looks amazing. This is the best looking 4K film I've seen thus far, and it was from 1964, so that really goes to show how amazing these 4K film transfers can be. The picture is amazing. It's shot in, most scenes are shot in deep focus, so you can see every single detail in the background, all the characters, all the actors, all the fifth business walking around and whatnot. It is just a sight to be seen. The sets, the everything done in this film just looks amazing, and the 4K transfer really shows it off. I can't stress enough that I have not seen a film transferred this well. The other thing is, well, the sound. Sound is very much important, especially for a musical. This is the first 4K film that I own that is at 96 kilohertz. Typically, movies are 48 kilohertz. This one's 96. And once again, I don't have an amazing setup. I have a Yamaha soundbar. It's not even capable of a Dolby Atmos or anything like that. However, when I was watching this film, I did hear a difference. The sound is much richer at this higher bit rate. So it's definitely a treat for your ears. This was scanned at 8K. So using the Telecine machine, they fed in the original film stock and scanned it in this big machine. And it scanned it at 8K, and then it was, I guess, downsampled to 4K. And I'm sure that's what makes this film extra juicy, is part of that process. This film in itself, I wasn't a huge fan. There's some musical pieces that I enjoyed. Visually, the set design and stuff like that, it was interesting. However, I would say for sure the only reason I picked this up is as a nice demonstration of what 4K can do. If you are a fan of this film, though, and you have a 4K setup, you're not going to see anything better than this version. This is amazing. But as the film goes, if you know, the film's starring Audrey Hepburn. She plays, I guess, a lower class Cockney flower girl, and this phonetics professor, Higgins, spots her, hears her talking, and she has this like piercing. I mean, this also is a testament for the 96 kilohertz. I think the 96 kilohertz was to get that piercing sound of Audrey Hepburn's voice perfectly represented in this film. When she goes, ow, and starts like screaming, it gave me an instant headache. Do what you will with that. Anyways, this phonetics professor basically berates her, makes fun of her, is quite classist, and he's a pretty big dick, I would have to say. He's an asshole in this movie. Him and I guess his buddy, this he's another phonetics teacher that was teaching in India, I guess while they were colonizing it, or I don't know what was going on. They end up shacking up together, and Audrey Hepburn's character, Doolittle, maybe she is the great-grandmother of Dr. Doolittle, ends up taking lessons from him because he has this bet that he can fix her a vernacular so that she would be, people would think that she was a Hungarian duchess or something like that. Basically, his point is that if you change your vernacular, you code switch, you're able to code switch well enough, your life will be better. Basically, fake it until you make it. And in that sense, him and his boyfriend have Audrey Hepburn at his house, and he trains her with some weird machine to fix her enunciation and I guess elevate her vocabulary. It's really bizarre when you think about it. This movie was directed by George Cukor, and before that, it was a Bernard Shaw play. Pygmalion, I believe it was called. Pygmalion. And that was Bernard Shaw based that off of Ovid Greek mythology of the same name, Pygmalion. So I guess you could trace this meme. The original Greek myth, Pygmalion, was about a king who I guess is not interested in real women. So he creates a sculpture that he falls in love with and starts to like dress her and stuff like that, kind of like a real doll. Then I think Aphrodite grants his wish and makes the statue into a real life woman. And that changes him, I guess. Bernard Shaw took the same story, updated it, and made it into commentary about the British sense of class and even, I believe, women's suffrage. So then the meme, once Cukor took that and made that into a film, he carried over most of that stuff. But there was maybe some other subtext that a liberal arts student can write about in that film, knowing Kukor's history in Hollywood. So it was a very, very interesting film. I know always when I watch this movie, at the end, it's not quite clear whether or not Doolittle ends up getting together with Professor Higgins. Professor Higgins makes it very clear in many of his songs that he's not interested in women. He doesn't like women. He wishes women were more like men. At the ending, it's pretty ambiguous because Doolittle is supposed to marry these younger suitors, but then she comes back to Higgins, and Higgins still kind of treats her like nothing, like kind of like trash. And there's a visible age difference between these two main characters. So I don't know if it's just left out in the open that you can make up your own ending, whether or not they got together, or just Higgins is happy to have a good friend or someone living in his house with him. I have no clue. That's why, for how long this movie is, it even has an intermission break in the film. I think the ending is I don't know. Even the Shaw play had a lot of criticism about the ending. And I believe I forget who it was, but someone even redid the ending a bit to make a happy ending to show that they got together at the end. But Shaw was very much against that ending. As a film as a whole, I wasn't a big fan of this. The film restoration as a 4K disc, this is a 10 out of 10. If you enjoy this movie, once again, buy this. And the price is pretty right on it. It's the same sort of deal with packaging as Willy Wonka. It's a nice looking case. And inside there's 2 discs. You get all copies. You get the 4K Ultra HD version, you get the regular Blu-ray HD version, and you get a digital code as well. So there's 2 discs inside. The disc is really plain, both the discs, and I'll show what it looks like on camera. I don't know. I still support these old musicals to come out on 4K Ultra HD. I really want Sound of Music to come out. I have great memories of watching Sound of Music as a kid. I think that would make a great 4K release. There is for sure a 4K transfer. A few years ago, it was shown at some theaters. However, it's up in the air when and where it'll be released. As you know, it's a 20th Century Fox film, and Fox is owned by Disney now. I don't know how Disney deals with these Blu-ray disc releases, if they want to hold things off in moratorium or whatever Disney always does to release it on Disney Plus. I just really hope Sound of Music comes out. Also, this director was the director that was fired from Gone with the Wind. He was the original director of Gone with the Wind, and midway he got fired. And that's another 4K release. I haven't done my research, but I wonder if Gone with the Wind has a good 4K release or if there's one planned. Anyways, I give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Once again, the 4K transfer of this is absolutely a 10 out of 10. Picture is 10 out of 10. The audio is 10 out of 10. This is stuff we haven't seen before in 4K, but I did not like the movie, so that's why it gets a 7.5 out of 10. So that's all for today's 4K Ultra HD review. If you like what you see, please subscribe, hit that notification bell for more reviews coming down the pipeline. I hope you have an excellent week. Thank you.